हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाय नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धेर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। So we are seeing the 18th chapter of Gita, which begins with Arjuna's question regarding the meaning of the terms sannyas and tyaga. So Bhagavan defines these terms and then tells that one should fulfill one's responsibilities, do all our kartavya karma, nitya naimittik karma, yajna dana tapak karma with nishkama bhavana, dedicating the karma to Ishvara without having attachment to the results. So when one does this, the antakarana becomes pure and one gains self-knowledge and gain abidance in that self-knowledge and becomes free of this samsara, gains moksha. So the purpose of karma, upasana and jnana is to make our antakaran more and more pure. So when the antakarana becomes absolutely pure, we shall easily gain self-knowledge and gain abidance in that self with the practice of nididhyasana. So the innermost impurity of our antakarana, of our buddhi, is to consider ourselves the doer, knower and enjoyer, which is a false understanding. And this false understanding is there because of avidya, our ignorance, not knowing ourselves as that Brahma, has created this false understanding that I am the doer, knower, enjoyer. And this impurity keeps me tied down to this world. So in order to enjoy, I know, I do, then gain experience, then again I perform actions. So in this way, one gets tied down to this samsara with this notion of karta, bhokta and jnata. Bhagavan explained very beautifully that actually the whole karma is happening in the field of prakriti only. Atma is not the doer. Adhishthanam tatha karta karanam cha prathak vidam vividhascha prathak cheshta daivam cha atra panchamaha. So these 5 factors are there which makes karma possible. Adhishthan, etc. Thereafter, Bhagavan described the person who has become free of this kartrutva bhavana and has attained moksha. But others should pursue this path of karma yoga sincerely till we gain our ultimate goal. So Bhagavan also described in the 18th verse the 3-fold propellers of karma. What motivates karma? What is that which makes a person perform karma? So one is that person himself, the parijñāta, the knower. Then what is known, the object of knowledge, and the knowledge itself are the main propellers of karma. And the contents of karma are also the karma itself, then the karana, the instruments with which that karma is performed, and the karta. These are the karma sangraha, they are called. So Bhagavan has mentioned so many factors. So one may get confused what is what and how to proceed on our path. So in the following verse now, in 19th verse, Bhagavan says among all these factors which I mentioned, the three are most important: Jnanam, Karma and Karta. If we can purify these three, it will purify our Antakarana and we will be able to attain our goal. Because all that is said can be summed up into these three factors: Jnanam, Karma and Karta. So what are they and what are their types? That is being now discussed in the following verses. So let us chant verse number 19. Jnanam karma cha karta cha tridhaiva guna bhedataha prochyate guna sankyane yathava shrunutanyapī. Bhagavan says that jnanam, knowledge, then karma, the action, karma, then karta, the doer. That karta himself is the jnata and also the bhokta, the one who performs the action, the one who knows and one who enjoys are the same entity, karta. So jnanam, karma cha karta cha tridhaiva guna bhedataha. All these three are of three types based on the gunas: sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. Where is it said? This is said in our Shastra, and this is also said in Sankhya Shastra. So, prochyate guna sankyane. It is being revealed in Guna Sankhya. Guna Sankhya is the Shastra of which talks about the three gunas, which is a Sankhya Shastra and revealed by Kapila Muni. So Shankaracharya ji, he writes in his commentary कि तद अपि गुण संख्यानम शास्त्रम गुण भोक्तृ विषये प्रमाणम एव परमार्थ ब्रह्म एकत्व विषये यद्यपि विरुध्यते. That this Sankhya Shastra, as far as the knowledge of gunas and the way the gunas operate, to understand this, the Sankhya Shastra is very good. But as far as to understand the Supreme Reality, the Sankhya Shastra talks about Dvaita only. So for that we need not take refuge in Sankhya. Bhagavan says, Paramartha Brahma Ekatva Vishaye Yadyapi Virudhyate. Where it is knowledge of that Ekatva of Brahma, means Atma and Brahma are one. The Sankhya Shastra doesn't talk about it. They talk about Dvaita. The Sankhya Shastra talks about Purusha and Prakriti. They don't talk about Brahma. And this Purusha, that Prakriti also, they name it as Pradhana, and that Purusha is there, who is different from the Prakriti. So as far as their understanding of the gunas and how the gunas function, it is good. So we can take their help. But when it comes to the ultimate reality, then what they are talking is not correct. See, in this world also, we have different faith, different religions. Nowadays in Kali Yuga, you have so many different religions are there which people follow. even in one so-called religion, there are so many parts and so many different classifications are there. And all of them, they talk differently. But there are certain things which might be common or which might be good. So those things, there is no harm in accepting. But when it comes to the ultimate reality, their understanding differs. So it is like a wrong train. If we sit in the train, we will reach a wrong destination. So here Bhagwan is just quoting that Sankhya Shastra, and he says, Prochyate guna sankhyane, in this Sankhya, as it is told about these three types of things, Jnanam, Karma and Karta, Yathava Shrunu Tanyapi. Hey Arjuna, you listen to it as it is revealed. Focus your attention and listen carefully what they say about these three. See again, Jnanam means that which is known, knowledge. See, when we use our senses, when we use our mind, intellect, we gain knowledge of this world. So through our senses, we get the knowledge of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, the sound, the touch, the sight, the taste, the fragrance. All this knowledge we get through our senses. So they are the Pratyaksha Praman. And as I said, this Praman means that which measures. So our senses, they measure the objects which is outside in this world. So world is made up of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So if there is some sound, if 10 people are there, all those 10 people will listen, will hear that sound. So there is a sound outside. So how do we hear that sound? That sound is made in space, and the aspect of space is there in us as the sense organ. So the sound outside matches the sound inside, and when they become one, we understand that sound. Just as when we want to take a photograph, so there is an object outside and there is a film in that camera. In the good old camera, there used to be a film. So when we used to click that photograph, the colors which are there outside, they are copied in the film inside. They are matched. So when they get matched perfectly, and when we develop that film, we can see the picture as it is outside. Similarly, our senses, each and every sense organ acts like this only. The sound which is outside, similar sound is created in our ears, and we gain the knowledge of the sound. The sight which is outside, similar sight is created with the organ of sight, and we gain the knowledge of sight in this way. So we gain the knowledge of the world through our senses, but there are things in this world, everything cannot be seen by our senses. Sometimes we see only a little aspect of an object. Let us say I only see smoke, but I have seen smoke and fire together. But now, at a distance, I see only smoke. So though I am not seeing fire, I can infer that there is fire, because smoke and fire go together. So that's called inference. So through inference, also through comparison, if I have seen something here on Earth and similar feature is seen on Mars, then we can say it must be formed due to similar circumstances. Now the most beautiful thing that NASA has sent a rover on Mars, Perseverance. It has got some 19 cameras and even two thing to record the sound also, and so many different features are there to do experiments there, to collect the samples, etc. So by observing all these features on Mars and then comparing them with features on Earth, one can infer that yes, billions of years ago, the features on Mars also must have been formed due to similar conditions. Suppose some features we see here on Earth formed due to water, flow of water. Like we see some pebbles and all. If the water is flowing, the stone gets converted into pebbles, nice round. Similar pebbles, if we see somewhere else, then we know, and if it is dry, then we know that once upon a time there must have been water there. So it's called comparison. So even in science, a lot of knowledge is gained by comparing. Then we have another method of knowing called assumption. We see some features and we what we call observe, but we don't know the cause, so we assume that this must be the cause. And after assumption, we do some experiment to prove whether that is really the cause. And when that is proved, we know, yes, we gain the knowledge. For example, you wake up in the morning and you go out of your house and you see the whole place wet. So before you went to sleep, it was dry. But now when you wake up and go out, it is all wet. So you assume that it must have rained at night. And you check, you try to see whether it is wet everywhere or is it wet only in my garden. So from that you can understand that yes, this must be the cause. So these are the various means, four main technique by which we gain knowledge of the world. It's called Pratyaksha, Anuman, Upaman and Arthapatti. But when it comes to the knowledge of the self, this four becomes useless. Because that self, the Atma, what we experience when we are in deep sleep, the senses don't reach there. You cannot see. Suppose somebody is sleeping and you want to see where that person is, you can't see. What you see is his body. What you can measure and all, maybe his heartbeat and blood pressure and all. But that Atma cannot be seen through the senses. Therefore, it cannot be inferred also through any means. It cannot be compared. Nothing is there with which it can be compared. And you cannot come to know about it through assumption. So the only way to know that Atma is through Shastra Praman, through the Upanishads, which are revealed by that Brahma, by Ishvara himself. So that is the only means. So when we gain knowledge, whether we gain knowledge of the world or we gain knowledge of our own self, our knowledge propels us into various actions. Our knowledge is like our philosophy, and that philosophy propels us into various types of activity. We have so many people in this world, everyone's philosophy of life might differ, and depending on the differences, they behave differently in this world. A scientist having a particular knowledge, as well as some knowledge we have which is verified, and some we just pick up as our beliefs. So depending on our beliefs and our knowledge, we respond to this world. So Nastic will respond differently. A person believing in certain religion will respond differently. A person who is depending on what type of education, what type of samskar, what type of influence that person has in his life, will behave differently. So all this is put together is called knowledge. So if we want to purify, if we want to gain that supreme enlightenment, gain abidance in our own self, first we have to improve our knowledge. If that knowledge becomes more and more sattvic, then our whole personality will undergo tremendous transformation. In Chandogya Upanishad, there is a story of Shvetaketu. Shvetaketu used to live with his father, and his father was a very enlightened person, a rishi. But Shvetaketu had no that type of faith in his father. He used to just roam around, a little boy. He grew up to 12 years. So his father said that you should go to school and learn. In our family, nobody remained uneducated. So you go to a Gurukul, stay there, serve the teacher, and gain proper knowledge. Don't just be a Brahman for a namesake, but try to gain proper understanding. So the child agreed, and he went to some ashram. He stayed there for 12 years, learned whatever was taught, and he came back. But when he came back, he was filled with a lot of pride that now I know everything. And this, my father, staying in this village, he doesn't know. I know everything. So he had that pride and of his learning. So father, when he came back, father asked him, how was everything? What did you learn? He said, I learned everything. I know everything now. So father asked him that, do you know that knowledge, having gained which one comes to know everything? Have you gained that knowledge, having gained which one comes to know everything? So that was taken aback. He had not gained this. Then he realized that I have not really learnt anything. Though I have gone to all this great university, studied so many subjects, but the real knowledge I have not gained. And he knew his father knows. So he surrenders to his father and says, you please teach me. So his father teaches him that Brahma Vidya, having known which everything becomes known. That famous Mahavakya Tattvamasi is there in this Chandogya Upanishad, very beautiful Upanishad. So that Jnanam is very important. Then once we have proper knowledge, another important factor which we should pay attention is our karma itself. If we can improve our karma, we can purify our antakarana. That we have seen before also. Bhagwan gives a lot of stress through karma. That you can improve you can make your mind pure through proper karma. So we should understand what are the various types of karma, the sattvic, rajasic, tamasic karma, and try to make our karma as sattvic as possible. Then the third important factor is the karta himself, the I. Though I am that Atma, but because of avidya and because of adhyas, I consider myself as a karta, bhokta, jnata. And as a karta, when I perform actions, it influences the antakarana. So through actions, we can improve the antakarana. So here the karta is also indicated as of three types, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. See, Atma is one only. Atma is same in everyone. So here karta is not that Atma, but karta is that thing which is misunderstood, which is superimposed on Atma due to our avidya. Like the example I had given, the Atma is like that clean, crystal clear glass. And our antakarana is like the water inside with whatever colors. So when we don't know the nature of this glass, we mistake the glass to be of the same color as the color of the water. And when we perform actions, all the actions are done by this waters, means by the sukshma sharir, and all the effect is on the sukshma sharir as well as the sthula sharir in the world. So everything happens in the field of prakriti only. And our actions, if they are not proper, they make the antakarana more and more opaque only. So the more the antakarana becomes opaque, colored with all our raga, dvesha and all sorts of negative tendencies, it becomes more and more difficult to recognize the Shuddha Atma. So when it is said different types of karta, it is nothing but different types of upadhis. Because of the difference in upadhis, the karta appears to be different. When you see the nirupadik Atma, means Atma beyond all upadhis, it is same. But with respect to the upadhis, it appears different. So this glass which is colorless appears orange. Again this glass which is colorless appears blue. So the blue color is the color of the upadhi, not of the glass. But due to avidya, it is assumed to be the color of the glass. That's called adhyas. So this adhyas has created the notion of karta, bhokta, jnata. So through our karma, through our sadhana, because our karma is influencing the antakarana. So through karma, by influencing this antakarana, we should make it more and more pure. That is our purpose. Make the antakarana more and more pure through our action. Action at the level of the body, action at the level of our speech, action at the level of our mind is performed to make the antakarana more and more pure. And when the antakarana becomes absolutely pure, like a clean water, then the nature of the glass and the nature of that antakarana becomes same. So when it matches, the antakarana matches the nature of that glass, we gain the knowledge of that glass, we gain the experience of that glass. That is the beautiful mechanism of nididhyasana, which we will study later on. But this you can remember, that when the antakarana becomes shuddha, and in that shuddha antakarana, when we have the knowledge that I am that Brahma, so the I who is identified with that water can then drop that identification and identify with the glass and become free of the bondage of water. And once he becomes free, then there is no more birth. There is no more coming back into the samsara. So that is the beautiful path. So here Bhagavan says that, hey my dear Arjun, and through Arjun he is talking to all of us, that you just improve your jnanam, improve your karma, and improve yourself. Yourself means this avidya yukta. Atma means upadhi. Improve the upadhi, and thereafter gain abidance in your own self. So therefore Bhagavan is talking about the three types of jnanam, three types of karma, and three types of karta. Jnanam karma cha karta cha tridhaiva guna bhedatah prochyate guna sankhyaane yathava shrunutanyapi. You listen to it properly, hey Arjuna. Now, first Bhagavan talks about the three types of jnanam. So let us chant verse number 20. Sarvabhuteshu enekam bhavamavyayamikshate avibhaktam vibhakteshu tadjnanam viddhi satvikam. Bhagavan says, कि हे Arjuna, understand this knowledge as sattvic. Hey Arjuna, understand this knowledge as sattvic knowledge. Which knowledge? See, when we say knowledge, it also involves that which is known. So the neyam is also included in that jnanam. So here Bhagavan is saying that knowledge sarva bhuteshu ena ekam bhavam ikshate. Knowledge of that one bhava means one reality, one vastu which is present in all the beings. Sarva bhuteshu ekam bhavam. In all the beings, that one thing which is present in all the beings, avyayam, free of all modification, means without undergoing any modification, same, present in all the beings. So there is one tattva which is present in all the beings in the same way, So one who gains the knowledge of this tattva, and having gained that knowledge of this tattva, he gains that vision. Sarva bhuteshu ena ekam bhavam avyayam ikshate. So with that knowledge he comes to see this one tattva in all. Avibhaktam vibhakteshu. In all that is different also. See, all the beings are different, all the objects are different in this world, but in all the differences, one who sees one tattva, so that knowledge by which one is able to see this oneness, this one tattva everywhere, that knowledge is called sattvic knowledge. Tad jnanam viddhi sattvikam. Okay. So let us read what Shankaracharya ji has written. Sarva bhuteshu. Sarva bhuteshu means avyaktadis tavaranteshu bhuteshu. Right from an inert object till that unmanifest, all that is there, all that is manifest, in all that is manifest, in all beings, yena jnanena, by that knowledge, he is able to see that one tattva, one bhava, ekam bhavam. What is that ekam bhavam? Vastu, bhava shabdah, vastuvachi, ekam atma vastu ityartah. Because what is common in all, without undergoing any change, that is Atma only. So one who has gained that knowledge, which has given him that vision to see this Atma Tattva present in everyone equally, if he has gained this knowledge of this Atma Tattva, which is present without any division in all the different things and beings which appear to be divided, that knowledge is called sattvic knowledge. Avyayam means na veti swatmana dharmaihi va kutastha nityam ityartha. One which doesn't change in its nature. The nature doesn't change. That is called Avya. This Atma is Avya because its nature doesn't change. Everything changes. Atma doesn't change. And tamcha bhavam ikshate. Ikshate means he sees, ena jnanena pashyati. That knowledge gives him the vision. Knowledge gives us the vision to see this oneness. Tamcha bhavam avibhaktam. This tattva is avibhaktam, is undivided in all the bodies. Pratideham vibhakteshu, deha bhedeshu cha vibhaktam. Though the bodies differ, though the objects differ, this tattva is common everywhere, undivided. Like space, Atma vastu vyomavad nirantaram ityartha. Like space which is present everywhere in the same way. In all the objects, space is present equally. There is no place where the space is concentrated or is light. Everywhere it is equally present. So, tad jnanam advaita atma darshanam. So what is this jnanam? Advaita atma darshan. That darshan, that vision of that one Atma. One who gains this knowledge, one who has got this knowledge, that knowledge is called sattvic jnana. So our whole idea is to ultimately gain this sattvic knowledge, which is the knowledge of our own self. that self itself is present in everything equally. Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana Premate Pragata Hoi Mai Jana. So Bhagavan is present everywhere equally. Brahma is present everywhere equally. Same Brahma is Atma. Atma is present everywhere equally. See, we see this world and we also experience ourselves. We experience our own existence. Whatever be our understanding of ourselves, we experience our own existence and we experience the existence of this world. So the Shastras give us the knowledge of the Swarupa of this world and my own Swarupa. What is my essential nature? And what is the essential nature of this world is revealed in our Shastra. So the Shastra, when it talks about the world, it says that this world is a karya, an effect, and the cause of this world is that Brahma. World is an effect and Brahma is the cause. When we say cause, there are two types of causes. One is called Nimitta Karan and another is called Upadana Karan. For example, if you see a pot, clay pot, so what is the cause of this pot? The material which goes to make this pot is called the Upadan Karan, the material cause. So clay is the material cause. But just clay by itself will not get converted into a pot. If clay is there, it will not just become a pot. So there must be a pot maker who converts the clay into a pot. Okay, so that pot maker is called Nimitta Karana. These are technical words. So this world is also karya, an effect. So there must be someone who has made this world and there must be some material with which this world is made. So if we use all our logic, our scientific methods of trying to understand the cause, we cannot understand it. Science is trying to understand the cause. It is using all its technology to understand. But even if one goes on and on for thousands of years in the way of the science, one will not understand. Though it is interesting. Now the science has sent this rover, as I said, on Mars. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Very, very amazing. That to send it to a planet which is so far away and to make it land exactly at a particular point where they wanted it to land is very amazing. But what they are saying is just observation. Keep on observing the world. First they is to observe with their eyes, then they observe with their telescope, then they try to observe by sending the satellites everywhere and rockets everywhere. But the more you observe, the more mysterious this world is. So through the scientific technique, we will not be able to know the world. Even the other darshanas like Vaisheshik, Nyaya, Sankhya, Yoga, they do not know the world, the secret of this world. It is revealed in the Upanishads. So the Upanishads say the cause of this world is Brahma. Not only the Nimitta Karan is Brahma, but Upadan Karan is also Brahma. Brahma alone projected this world. So this knowledge is given in the Upanishads that Bhagavan thought and he created this world. But the material with which it is created is also himself. So out of himself, he became the world. The Upanishad gives the example of a makadi, the spider. The spider, when it weaves the web, the material also is coming from itself, and the one who weaves is also itself. So the spider is both the nimitta and upadan karan of that web. Similarly, Brahma is the nimitta and upadan karan of this world. So just as a upadan karan, like this clay is the upadan karan of this pot. So before the pot was made, what was it? Clay. And if the pot breaks, what will remain? Clay. So clay was there before, then it got converted into a pot, and when it gets destroyed, this pot, clay alone means clay is that which doesn't change. Clay is changelessly present in all the pots, but the pots change. Similarly, Brahma is changelessly present in this world. Brahma is present in this world. World constantly changes, but the changeless Brahma is present in this world. Therefore, I say again and again, the Shastras say the world is not mithya. World is a karya of Brahma. Even when it is constantly changing, that karana is changeless. Even when the pots are created or sustained and get dissolved, the clay remains same. So the world is constantly present. Either it is manifest or it remains unmanifest. During Pralay, the whole world becomes unmanifest. Unmanifest means it remains as Brahma. And when it is projected, it appears in different names and forms, but Brahma is present. And that Brahma is our own self, Atma. So one who gains that knowledge which is revealed in the Shastra, systematically, logically, by approaching a teacher and learning, when that knowledge is gained, one gains this vision, the vision which is gained through knowledge. He understands that Atma is present everywhere equally. He gets that Sarvatma Bhava, that knowledge of that oneness of that self. So this is the ultimate knowledge. And when this knowledge happens in the buddhi becomes crystal clear like this. Because all the impurities are due to misunderstanding only. The buddhi misunderstands itself to be the karta, bhokta, jnata, but when that misunderstanding goes away, the buddhi becomes crystal clear. This Bhagavan himself tells, this is not what I am telling, is all what is said by Bhagavan. Shankaracharya ji in his Bhashya, कि अत्यंत निर्मलत्व स्वच्छत्व सूक्ष्मत्व उपपत्तेः आत्मनो बुद्धेः च आत्मसमनयेर nairmalyad upapattehe. Just as the Atma is absolutely pure, clean, transparent, similarly Buddhi also is clean, pure, transparent, because it is the first expression of that Atma. It is also as subtle, as pure as that Atma. But now, because of impurity, it appears dark, appears of different color. But through our sadhana, when it becomes crystal clear, we can gain abidance in our own self. So that knowledge which gives us this vision of oneness is called Sattvic Jnanam, in which the person who gains this knowledge comes to see the whole world, though everything is different. See, when I look at the world with my eyes, there are mountains, there are rivers, there are trees, there are buildings, there are different beings, animal, bird, plant, human. For the eyes, everything is different. But when we gain this knowledge of oneness, we understand, though outwardly I see difference, everything is pervaded by that one Atma. So this Jnanam is called Sattvic Jnanam. Avibhaktam vibhakteshu tad jnanam viddhi sattvikam. It's very subtle. It might not happen immediately at initial level due to lot of impurities. Our knowledge will be tamasic or rajasic. That also Bhagavan will describe. Then we will know what is the meaning of rajasic jnanam and what is the meaning of tamasic jnanam. So from the tamasic we have to rise to rajasic and then to sattvic jnanam. It's most fascinating. One should have the vision of seeing that oneness. Just like we have, let us say, a number of ornaments, gold ornaments. One who doesn't have the knowledge of gold, he sees only the different ornaments with different forms. But one who has got the understanding of gold, he sees everything as gold only. So with the knowledge of gold, when he looks, he sees gold everywhere. Similarly, with the knowledge of this Atma, when one looks, he sees Atma everywhere. Atma eva idagam sarvam. Vasudevas sarvamiti. Siya Ramamay sab jagajani. Karahu pranam jori jugapani. This is Sattvic Jnanam. Thereafter, Bhagavan will talk about Rajasic and Tamasic Jnanam that we will see in our class tomorrow. So till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy. Do your work, do your sadhana. Contemplate on what you are listening and understand deeply, properly. That is the idea. And we shall meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, जय जय राम जय जय राम। बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।